Always wanted to be a pro wrestler? Or are you already a wrestler and looking to improve? Don't know where to start? Or just want to refine your skills? Well, don't wait. Only you keep you from being better. Want to be the best? Then learn from the best. Fort Knox's training school will help you develop the skills needed to not only become better, but become a legit contender anywhere you go. So don't delay. Find us on Facebook or call 717-379-4599 to schedule a tryout now. That's 717-379-4599.
Welcome, everybody, to 3 Beards of Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, Shane. Next to me is Adrian, and below is the fat guy, Wasted Kiesel.
Fat guy wasted. Listen, that intro video for Fort Knox and that too, the 379-4599, like that guy is like
it's an iconic voice. It's an iconic voice. It's very smooth and hits to the punch. Can I just say every time I hear the intro to the show, I get hype. Anybody else? Is just me?
Yeah. I have to. You have to because it's like 30 degrees, so it's like a little chill.
Oh yeah. You outside doing weird stuff.
Video props to Adrian.
No, you ain't no props needed. I'm just saying I get hype every time I see it. Like we get.
Like, I told Shane the other day. Like I sit there and like while it's going, I sit there hum it, and I'll be humming it later. I'm like, okay, that's catchy.
So back to the Fort Knox video. If you are looking to be a pro wrestler, a referee, a manager, a valet, or a ring announcer, December 1st to the 25th, they are having free tryouts. So if you guys are interested or you want to live your dream, hit Rob up or any of us, and we'll get you guys connected. Somehow. So December 16th is coming up, and SWO is having a Christmas Chaos show.
It's a chaos.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. There's a fat guy that's wasted on the poster.
That's just me. I'm the fat guy. They wouldn't let me be Santa, so I had to be the other fat guy. So.
I was talking about Santa, but I mean, go ahead.
Oh yeah.
And after everyone is done opening their presents, December 25th at the Rutherford Youth Club in Harrisburg, CCW is having a United show that night. Doors open at 5. Bell time is 6 p.m. So if you guys need tickets to any of these shows, hit any of us up, anyone in the local PA area, and someone will get you to the right place, basically.
Yeah, we'll direct you. And you see Jamala Claus was on the post, so you got to see
Jamala Claus. I'm saying
Jamala Claus. Yeah, so yeah, definitely.
If he ain't dressed up like Santa, I'm gonna riot. I will riot.
And remember, if you guys can like us on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And soon Oh, and Spotify, and soon to be TikTok.
You see, you were so close. You were so close.
I was so close. I had everything
going.
up to, and I'm like,
Yeah, it was going. It was going. You forgot to throw up the X as well. So
also one that we got to get added to it and everything too is also you got Seven Mountains Wrestling is this Saturday as well. That's another big show in that too. A lot of good shows lined up back after back for December as well. So make sure you get your tickets in that as well. So don't want to miss out on that show. Maybe Jamala Claus will be there at Seven Mountains.
Wait, but Jamala Claus gonna be at Seven Mountains?
I don't know. He might be.
What?
Yeah, that's the only way you can find out to get tickets.
Before we bring our guests on, let's catch up on some comments quick. Andy says hi, and the Valor show was crazy in New York, and we're not going to talk about that.
Jason Durr.
What's up? What's up? Great. Oh my God.
But you know what though, it was a great show at Vonnie B. Grimes Gym and that too. It was the whole weekend, the whole Black Friday, Red Saturday, the whole entire weekend was fantastic. There was a lot going on. There were flaming tables, there were tigers, there were fights, there were championship matches. There was a lot that went on last weekend.
It was a cocaine filled fever dream, is what it was. That is just amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Wrestling. I miss wrestling.
Yes, Adrian did the video. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, yes, sir, I did. Yes, sir, I did. I did it. I did it. I did it. And shout out to Rob Noxious
for being set on fire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah.
Blaze.
Bro, it's crazy.
It's
crazy because I reposted that video. And I go back to work Monday, and they were like, "Were you on fire?" I was like, "One, I'm not that fat. And two, no, that was my dad." I was like, "No." They were like, "Yo, you guys are fucking crazy." I'm like, "Hey,
that's right."
I was in the back doing sound, and they were like, "Fire!" I was like, "Doesn't surprise me." Oh, it's lit.
It's blazing.
It is lit on fire.
It's blazing.
All right, so Adrian, you ready to bring our guest down?
I get to bring him on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome in Big Al. He is the color commentator for SWO. He's a ring announcer for SWO, triple WA ring announcer, and he is one half of the color commentary for Carnage. And he is the co-host of Around the Turnbuckle podcast that you can see live here on Facebook and YouTube. Big Al, everyone.
Big Al.
Welcome.
3Beardzofwrestling. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem, man. Not a problem. Yeah. Welcome, man. Welcome on.
Absolutely. Let's go.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. First of all, I want to apologize.
Like a sequence jacket, not a Eagles hoodie. I mean,
yeah, what is up? Like, did you dress down because, like, you came to see us? Like,
I did this for Shane. Truth be told, I did this for Shane. Totally for Shane, because you know. I talked to the other you two guys. I talked to a lot more than I get to talk to Shane. So I totally did this for Shane. Knowing Shane's an Eagles fan, and we had a rough loss last night. So what? We're still 10-2.
You got you. So basically, it's an attempt to rub nipples, and like so. And yeah, okay, that's fine.
It's all about rubbing nipples. You know,
it's all about it.
You should know.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, is that picture still up, or did you burn it like I asked you to?
I did not burn it.
Son of a bitch.
Mounted right up above his bed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's bad.
We talked about sides of beds yesterday on Around the Turnbuckle, and if you guys didn't check that out, we had a great interview with Mr. Adrian here about his entire career and everything, and it was fabulous. I enjoyed every minute of it. It was great.
What did you guys do for the other 55 minutes?
Yeah,
we talked about the Eagles and the Steelers.
It wasn't just the Steelers lost, man. It was the rain. The rain was the problem.
Yeah, you couldn't delay that ass whooping is what happened. That's what it was.
And the quarterback got injured, and I'm excited to see him on Saturday, on Thursday. I'm excited to see him on Thursday. It's going to be.
I'm not making excuses, Shane. We got our ass whooped.
I mean, if
you're in the stadium too, apparently you got your ass whooped too.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah, security guy got thrown out and all this other nonsense.
It was beating all around.
I was not there.
Oh, thank God. You had some important stuff to do.
Yeah, no.
So yesterday on Around the Turnbuckle, you guys talked about your 1-year career, Adrian.
Yeah, just one full year of of
It
getting my
had to
ass beat,
It had to have been shocking.
tasers, one-way signs, and you know, just some shocking results of life.
So I saw some of it. But did you bring up the one-way sign?
No, I didn't. I did not, because I still have trauma. PTSD is a real thing. You understand that, right?
You know what is great? So that match actually just popped up on my mom's memories like a couple weeks ago. And I was like, I got to get that on the podcast because everyone got to see the sign shot.
Please tell me. Please tell me you have it.
You have that?
He's got it. He's got it.
Of course he's got it.
He's got it loaded up.
I do not have it.
He's got it. He's got it, because you can see me go down like a ton of things. Like,
I'll have the taser one too, so don't worry.
oh no, you don't need that one. We don't need that one. We don't need that one. That one's okay. Like, everybody knows, I got shocked. So yeah, we're just moving on. We have a guest. Okay, we have a guest. Let's talk to the guest.
You're right.
Harassing my ass. So, tell us about your journey into the world of professional wrestling. Tell us about how that all came about. You know.
Well, it all started when I was a kid. Like I know a lot of guys have that story with especially if you're in the ring, right? Because you kind of fell in love with it at a young age. But most guys did. Most guys have that story. Some guys don't, because we've interviewed now about 250 wrestlers over the past 3 years, and each one of them had a different story. But 90% of them, I swear, maybe more like 80% of them said, man, when I was a kid, I was watching on TV, I saw John Cena, or I saw this guy, I saw that guy. For me, my stepfather used to take me to wrestling whenever WWF was in town in Allentown, whether they be at the Ag Hall or sometimes they'd be at Hamburg at the Field House. And because he took my brother to like Yankees games and football games, so he thought, well, Alan likes wrestling more than sports, so I'm going to take him to that, right? Well, 1984, I believe it was around March. I went to a TV taping where they taped 3 episodes of Superstars of Wrestling, and they taped 3 episodes of Wrestling Challenge. And they told us at the beginning, they said, listen, you're going to be here for 4 hours, but we're going to make it worth your while. We're going to give you a main event at the end that only you guys can see. It's not going to be on TV. And the main event they gave us, and I was 8 years old, the main event that they gave us was Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant versus King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd with Bobby the Brain Heenan. That was my main event.
Ooh.
Now, I was excited about that in itself, but they also taped an episode of Piper's Pit. And I had never seen Roddy Piper before. I'd never seen him on TV or anything like that, so I didn't know who he was. That was my introduction to Roddy Piper. And just so happens his guest was Jimmy Snuka. And wow. I was in the building in Hamburg in March of '84 when he hit Snuka in the head with the coconut.
Holy shit.
That moment is where I fell in love with professional wrestling. Not only falling in love with it, but I also fell in love with Piper. I started rooting for the heels. I root for the heels in wrestling. I root for the heels in movies. I root for the heels in everything. So I've always been that way. And any way that they can win, I don't care how they win. You know, Ric Flair was always my favorite heel because, you know, dirtiest player in the game, he would find a way, right? Roddy Piper was a heel for a while there, but then he turned face, and I was like, you're face now. So I kind of gravitated to the Macho Man at the time because he was the top heel at the time. You know, but anyway, my point is that moment, I was in the building, dude. I was 50 feet away from when Piper hit Snuka in the head with the coconut at Hamburg Fieldhouse, March of 1984. And it's been like that ever since. Now, fast forward to the COVID 2020 pandemic. We were all trying to figure out, like, we should start a podcast where we talk about wrestling. So we did. We started around the turnbuckle with 4 guys talking about wrestling. But what we didn't realize was there was a lot of those. Like, we didn't know that. We went online and we searched other podcasts, and there's like 50 or 100 of them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, good ones. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm thinking, man, like, I don't just want to be a bunch of fans sitting around talking about wrestling. I want to do something meaningful or something different. So we decided to start looking into going to local independent wrestling shows and meeting with people. And a big shout out goes to James Brickhouse, because he was the first guy that I met and introduced me to some wrestlers and introduced me to Dino Sana and some other people. And we got to talking about, the podcast, and he said, it'd be great if you had wrestlers on and they could promote their show. So I'm admitting to you right now that was not my idea. That was Dino Sana's idea.
Right.
Okay. So I said, you know what? That's brilliant. I'm going to do that. So now, we lost a couple of members along the way, naturally or not.
Mm-hmm.
But, my cousin Kyle was part of that. He passed away, but it came down to me and the professor, and he wasn't always the professor, but that guy has been with me from day one. He's still with me from day one, and I've enjoyed the ride with him, and I'm excited to get to see what happens to us next, because we didn't get into the Around the Turnbuckle podcast to become part of the business or try to get into the business. We didn't want to do that. Okay. That's for you guys. You guys are putting your bodies on the line for our entertainment. I belong sitting in the stands cheering you on or booing you or whatever. But the opportunities that have organically happened, I'm not going to say no to. The chance to ring announce. Shout out to Mark Mest. He brought me in for Outbreak at Hamburg Fieldhouse, of all places. Hamburg Fieldhouse was the first time I stepped into a ring ever. Okay, and I stepped into the ring to ring announce a show there, and I got hooked. I mean, I got seriously hooked into doing it. But I was nervous. I was shaking. But the cool thing was back in the building at that same time, he had just done a seminar, was Kevin Kelly. And Kevin Kelly said, "Are you the ring announcer?" I said, "Yeah." Yeah. And he goes, "You look nervous. Are you nervous?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Good." I said, "Why is that good? I could barely speak." He goes, "Because if you weren't nervous, you don't care." And then I calmed down, and then I did the rest of the show, and my parents were there. My family was there. It was a dream come true. And I thought, if that was the only time I ever did that, great. Next thing you know, SWO was looking for a ring announcer. Wolfman, shout out to Wolfman and everybody else that got involved with that. And here I am now. I've been doing it now for what, Kiesel, 8 or 9 months.
Yeah, easily. I was gonna say creeping up on a year at least.
Yeah, keep creeping up on a year with SWO, and I love every single minute of it. Every single minute of it. And I get often asked, do I like commentary better? The simple answer to that is no, because I think when I'm a ring announcer, I feel a little bit more part of the show, because I'm in the ring. I'm kind of moving the show along. I'm, making sure everybody needs to be where they need to be and all that kind of cool stuff. And I get to interact with the guys and find out how they want to be announced and all that stuff. And I've been learning as I go along, but I get lots and lots of compliments, and I appreciate each and every one of the people that have come up to me and given me advice, giving me compliments. And I love the SWO fans. I love the SWO faithful, as they call themselves, at Red Lion and or Seven Valleys. As for 3WA, I love that too, because I get to razz the professor as much as I pop. Because on Around the Turnbuckle, it's, we're buddies and we're talking to a wrestler. But on 3WA Carnage, I get to be Big Al. I get to be the Big Al Boski. I get to be an asshole, and I get to tell, and I get to tell the professor that, the hat guy was not trying to trip that guy. He was trying to lace his boot. Professor, did you notice his boot was unloosed? Stuff like that. So. Right. I channel my inner Jerry Lawler or Jesse the Body Ventura or Bobby the Brain Heenan, and that's how I do it. But I've loved every minute of it, and I'm not going to stop as long as there's air in my lungs.
No, that's awesome. That's really good to hear. I mean, so you got to meet Kiesel. He treats you like crap, which is okay to admit in front of us. And that's SWO. I got a question. I know it's kind of a little bit off the cuff. So being a ring announcer and doing commentary and stuff like that. When somebody gets shocked with a taser, how would that make you? Would you say something in hopes that there's medical personnel and staff, or would you like cheer for the evil bad guy who tried to murder somebody in the ring?
That's a great question. I've never called a match where somebody got tased.
Oh, really? Oh,
I've never done that. So here's what would probably happen. So I'd probably be with the professor, and the professor would be screaming at the top of his lungs, "Oh my God! Oh my God! He's tasing him. He needs medical attention. Get some people out here!" Right? He'd be saying that. He'd be saying that shit, and I'd be like, "Calm down, professor, before I go tell him to tase you."
So you would tell him to tase the professor?
I would not show sympathy for the guy getting tased. I would say that bring that down here so I can calm this guy down.
Okay. Just So you don't care.
I'm sorry that's a short subject for you, but
it's still sore. What are you talking about? It's never gone away. I got the marks to prove it. So I mean, that's just how it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, that's how I'd call it. But see, the ring announcer side of me would be concerned, would be calling referees out, would be waving for people, would be standing over you, making sure you're okay. Right. That's because I've had that happen. There was a match where Zach Carlucci got attacked by Ken Andrews one time, and I was in the vicinity when that happened. So I was outside of the ring. I jumped out of the ring when it happened, and then once it was over with, I go over to him with the referee. We're making sure he's okay. And all I got out of him was, "I'm getting too old for this."
Okay. Okay. So basically, you have no sympathy for any human being. Go ahead. Anybody next?
See, you're paintbrushing me as a heel myself. I'm a heel on commentary, but I'm not a heel person. I care about everybody.
You just said it yourself. Go ahead.
So I've had a chance to sit down with a professor and do color commentary at the last SWO show while you were busy, ringing out.
No, I don't do SWO. He has a guest commentator people.
So it was fun doing that. So when you go through and you're doing color commentary and that too, like walk us through like your process, your thought process where you're trying to go through and get over to the people, because you and doing color commentary is I know from doing it just that once, it's tough, but like you're telling a story to somebody who's not there. Like how do you get through that?
So I got to give credit where credit's due. Keith does most of that prep work. He makes sure the story, because he's an encyclopedia of wrestling. And so we're at every single 3WA show, every single SWO show. So he has it in his brain about what happened last month. So he can bring that up in the story. If that moves the story along at all, he keeps that going. What I try to do is I try to support that in any way I can with my opinion, or if I know something he doesn't, I let him know before the show. And I had a great conversation one time with Main Event Michael Mars. You guys know him. And Main Event Michael Mars said, the biggest thing that commentators should do, whether you're color, whether you're play-by-play, it doesn't matter. You have to have a good relationship with the guys in the back, even if you don't like them, because that way you guys are on the same page about what they want said, what they want put over, that kind of stuff. And so Keith, pre-show, we're around, we're talking to guys, he's taking notes, I'm asking questions, he's taking notes. We have learned that in the beginning, we just called what we saw, right? We weren't even doing it live in the beginning, Kiesel. They would send us the videos, we would do it at my house, kind of ECW style. We weren't even there. So you can imagine us trying to act excited when something crazy happened when we already knew it happened because we were there. Well, anyway, once we decided to start doing it live, once that became an option, it opened up a huge door, because now you hear emotion in his voice when he gets excited about somebody, like say Wolfman beating JT Cage, something like that. He was so excited about that. Or most recently, Wyndham and Theo finally beating Wyndham in that war that went on for a while. You could hear the emotion in his voice. Me, if one of my favorites loses a title or something like that, you hear me screaming, no, 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 no. And I try to make excuses as to what just happened, because obviously the other guy did not beat my guy because they had to cheat to beat him, or there was a distraction, or blah, 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 or, I turn all, nasty about it. But
Right.
prep work, we had to learn that. We had to learn to make sure to communicate with all the guys in the back and say, hey, and especially if they're new, like, what do you guys, where have you guys wrestled? What can we mention about you live on the broadcast? So when the videos get put out, when the SWO videos get put out, if maybe the SWO fans have never seen the guy before, Keith can talk about, the guy as if he knows everything, because he does.
Right.
And if he doesn't know, he finds out. That's why I said I got to give the devil his due there. He does most of that research. I just kind of try to help him any way I can.
I think to your point, it's nice too, like having that live reaction as well, is that, you get that pure, genuine reaction and that too. I mean, we were doing the podcast when we were doing it live on Black Friday, and Louis G. Rich interrupted the podcast and everything too. Called Rob Noxious, like that caught us off guard. Yeah, we didn't know what was going on. I was
watching that one. You guys were in the building, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was down in the ring, and you had Rob at the table,
right?
Right, and he was running, and that was cool. That was moments that can happen, because anything can happen in wrestling. That's why we love it. I think that's the biggest reason why we love it, is you never know what's going to happen in wrestling, whether it's TV, whether it's indies, whatever. You never know. You have to come to the shows and find out. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I don't know when my name changed, but we're not going to address that.
Junkyard Dog?
Yeah.
Big Daddy V?
Oh, you motherfucker. You bearded son of a bitch. You bearded son of a bitch.
Duke the Dumpster Kiesel?
Yeah. I don't know how, like, this is what happens when you let a toddler control the buttons. I'm just saying, let a toddler control the buttons.
Actually, Bentley's on the other side going.
Exactly. He gives them the thumbs up, like, no, give him something different.
Yeah, he's like, no, that's too good. Give him something different.
I'm trying to see if we missed any comments quick, but
so I gotta ask what's in this entire journey. We'll start with the podcast. What has been your biggest moment? Like, who you think has been like your most like iconic interview? Like, what interview like shocked you?
He ain't gonna say you, so
right? If you want to say me, yeah.
No, of course not. Of course not. Big Daddy V does not.
There's an obvious answer to that, and there's a not so obvious answer to that. And what I mean is that, we never tried to get any big name Hall of Fame WWE guy before, and we weren't even. We had what we did, but we had no aspirations of that. So I'm going to give you three, and the three, one of them does involve you. So we were at Legends of Hamburg, and you and I were just sitting there talking about the festivities, talking about what's going on there, and randomly walking by, and you flagged them down one by one, was Rhino, was Maven, was Heath Slater,
right,
and eventually Barry Horowitz, but he didn't get on camera.
Right.
So, but that was a cool moment that I'll never forget. That was pretty badass, cool moment on Around the Turnbuckle. The other one was the obvious answer, which is we did interview Stevie Ray of Harlem Heat back in October of, I believe, 21. And that was fabulous. And that just, and shout out to Chrissy Cypher. She had that podcast. And I don't know if she's ever going to see this, but shout out to her because she made that happen. She was a friend of his. He was trying to promote his podcast in Pittsburgh, and he wanted to go on Pennsylvania wrestling podcasts to do that. And some guys paid him, but I didn't have to. So I got a phone call from his agent, and the agent says, I forget that guy's name. That's why I said agent, because I don't remember his name. He calls me, he says, okay, listen, you need to answer your phone, the next phone call, because I know a lot of people don't answer their phones when they don't recognize the number. The next phone call you get is going to be Stevie Ray. You understand? I said, yes. He says, are you ready for that? I said, sure. How do you get ready for that? So he calls me, and I was like, I just start talking to him like I'm talking to you guys right now. I was like, hey, man, how you doing? Oh, I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. I'm like, yeah. He said, so you're starting a new podcast, I hear. Yeah, we're getting it going. We're getting it going. He starts talking about this and that. And big Steelers fan, by the way, Kiesel. Did you know that? Stevie Ray is a big Steelers fan, yes.
So sorry for him.
So he starts talking about it a little bit. He says, he's like, so what do you got going on there around the turnbuckle? Well, tell me about around the turnbuckle. So I told him about it. And he loved the fact that we had become a place for local wrestlers to come on and tell their story and promote their events. And it wasn't about us. It was about them. He loved that. And so he said, I'll talk to you guys as long as you want me to. And I said, it's a pleasure meeting you, sir. We set it up. And you can see that interview on Around the Turnbuckle YouTube. It was fabulous. He was great. I'll never forget it. He was awesome. And I have his number. I can say that. So, but because at the end, he was like, hey, man, you want to do this again? You got my number. And ever since then, I didn't want to bother him. But I'm going to eventually crack down and say, hey, listen, we're doing pretty good. We got a lot bigger audience than we had when we had you on there 2 years ago. So would you like to come back? So that'd be great. But yeah, that was that one. So the third one I want to mention is Ace Dallas, and you guys know him. Mm-hmm. Ace Dallas almost had me in tears telling his story. He was so emotional and so passionate about the business and everything he does in life and his teaching and everything like that. It was so easy. Like I asked him one question, he talked for 20 minutes. And then I asked him for another question, he talked for another 20 minutes because the guy just has a way about himself and it was so passionate. Like, and that's what I love. I love to see in guests on Around the Turnbuckle, I love to see passion about pro wrestling, and 99% of them have it. And then you got those people who are kind of green, been in the business for a cup of coffee and come in and be like, right away they want to promote their Facebook and their Instagram and this, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But, I could smell them out a mile a minute, a mile away. But anyway, Ace. So that one with you, Adrian, at Hamburg with those three special guests, Stevie Ray and Ace Dallas are the three that pop in my head as my favorites, I'd say.
And that was an interesting day. That was a very interesting day.
It was.
I was damn near pissing myself, and just me being me. I was like, hey man, just pull people. That was good. That was good.
But it's good to have those, like when we always talk about the right place, right time.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Just like it happens just by pure accident. It's nice when you see that and it happen and it and it go well and stuff like that for guys that are like that. I've shared locker rooms with some people that are in WWE, stuff like that too, that don't owe you a lick of time. They don't owe you anything. They don't have to talk to you. Hell, Mick Foley sat there and talked to my 10-year-old for a good hour, just talking to him and that too. Like, it's like that man knows nobody anything. So it was
awesome.
Good respect for that. And then you have other guys that you hear, the horror stories of that. They're just like, they're out before intermissions, even over, and they could care less. Ric Flair, you have those people that are like that it's like that, with especially guys that are new to the business looking up to it and they're like, oh, I could be like that. It's like, no, be different, be something different, be unique. You have to be, that's what you gotta be.
Yeah.
Don't be King Mabel. That's all I say.
What? Why not? Why not? Listen here, Stone Cold.
Don't be King Mabel, Stone Cold Steve Kiesel.
Like, you need to shut your face.
So
you just like right time, right opportunity. Ha ha ha. It's the right time, right opportunity. Friday when y'all got fucking sushi. But that's okay. I'm not upset. I'm not upset.
It just happened. Calm down. You're gonna give yourself another heart attack.
Yeah, I'm okay. Okay, I took off my
pretty wonderful.
Use Prabha, my friend.
So I can't really ask you like your favorite match, I guess, because like you're not really like I mean, you're not like an in-ring like wrestler, but like what are your like top 5 favorite matches like you have ever watched? Like indie or
I've ever watched as a fan, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, in no particular order, my favorite match of all time is Macho Man Randy Savage and Steamboat. I could watch that every day, all day long. A lot of people in my generation feel that way. And then a lot of people in your guys' generation feel that way about Undertaker and Shawn and WrestleMania 25. And that I feel the same way about. I enjoy that just as much. So it's like a movie, right? If I love a movie, I can watch it any day of the week and be entertained by that every single time. So those matches I just mentioned, I can watch those two matches anytime, any day of the week, and be just as entertained as I was when I first watched it. I'm a huge fan of the Royal Rumble and the concept of the Royal Rumble. I always have been. That's my favorite kind of match. But if I have to narrow it down to the best one, I mean, I really like 2021 recently. That was the one where Edge came back. And it had a star-studded cast. Close second to that would be 92, where they had it for the title, and it because it had a who's who. It had Hogan, it had Macho Man, it had Flair, it had Sid Justice, it had Jake the Snake Roberts, like all these guys. So it had a who's who of legends in that one, 1992 Royal Rumble. But so there, those three, and then if I want to take a couple from indie, I gotta say that I saw a match between Dog Nation and the Philly's Finest. I think it was at, and I ring announced that night, I believe. I think it was at Reynolds Middle School for SWO. That match was pretty damn good, and that showed me that those 4 guys need to be on TV, in my opinion. And then if I have to pick another one, it's really hard because like I want to get out more and I want to see more than what I see because I ring announce SWO once a month. I do Carnage once a month with the professor at 3WA. So to go to other shows, it's harder for me. I'm a father. I have kids. It's really hard for me to get out on the weekends that I'm not doing wrestling. But I have been invited to a lot of local shows around where I live because I live in Palmerton. And so there's a bunch of shows in my immediate area where I'm not driving 2.5 hours to go see SWO or CCW or Valor or anything like that. And I did. The first time I went to a CCW show was outdoors. It was in Marysville there. That's the first time I saw all you guys wrestle, and not Kiesel. Kiesel wasn't there, but I saw you two wrestle. I was really impressed with JT Funk. That I I enjoyed that match. And I was impressed with I had never met Adrian up till that day. So he impressed me too, just his presence and everything like that. The whole and the first time I saw him as Prince Shango too, I'll remember that forever too, because it was it kind of brought me back to different days.
Wait, you're Prince Shango?
No, what?
No, he's King Mabel.
Yeah, I'm King Mabel. I don't know what you mean by that.
King Mabel was meant on a mission, right?
Yeah. And Mo, Oscar, and Mabel.
Yeah. Those guys.
Jesus
I hope I answered your question, Shane. I'm sorry if I didn't.
No, you're good. Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's always nice to hear like what people's different matches and like reasoning for those matches and stuff like that too, because you have so many people that are, like you've been the first one that we've talked to that said they're like Rumble. Some Rumble matches were in my top and that too. You normally don't hear that, especially nowadays with Royal Rumbles and that too. They're so they're like, oh, well, so-and-so is making a return. Like you always watch the Rumble because you're like, I wanted to see what cool people were coming back. Even if it was just a run in, get tossed out, see you later, but it was so cool to have that moment. But it's hard to have those moments sometimes because, people, they were spotted at the Performance Center.
Social media has ruined it. Social media, because 20 years ago, you had no way of knowing unless WWE told you who was in the match. So sometimes they would give you a handful. They'd give you 10, maybe 15 guys, and then they wouldn't tell you the rest. And that was the fun part, is to seeing who was. And I really wish they would do that now. Even though there is social media, I wish they wouldn't tell us at all. Cody Rhodes comes out and he declares himself for the Royal Rumble on SmackDown. Well, I wish he didn't tell me that. I really didn't, because, we could guess he's going to be in it, but we don't know. So I would rather not know who the hell's in it, and then number 1's a surprise, all the way up to number 30 is a surprise. I wish they would go back to that. But
this year,
I always believe that wrestling's more about creating moments than matches. You know what I'm saying by that? Like more people remember moments versus match. More people remember when Stone Cold Steve Austin came out with the beer truck than some of his greatest matches, like against Bret Hart or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, for a lot of younger generation, people like remember the moments that make you pop. But I get where you're coming from with that. Like, some people just remember those specific moments, like guys like us who were been in the business and kind of watch. It was the moments, yeah, but it was the matches themselves that like really drug us in. It was the matches that like really kind of like, if they can do that, and I work really hard, could I do the same thing? Could I pass that? Could it be better? You know what I mean? But I'm gonna throw you off here a little bit. So we talked all the time, about this time of year. It's Christmas, right? Everybody's Christmas. You know what I'm saying? And we had this discussion yesterday. Why do you hate Hans Gruber? That is my question for you. Why do you hate the British German?
First of all, I do not hate Hans Gruber. I love Alan Rickman and everything he ever did. Yeah. And I do like the movie Die Hard. But I love the debate with anybody that Die Hard's a Christmas movie or not a Christmas movie, because it's fun. It's a fun debate.
It's a Christmas movie.
Okay.
It is a Christmas movie. I don't care what anybody says.
I'm glad you feel that way.
When did it take place?
Around the holiday time.
No, when exactly did it take place? When did it take place? Tell me when.
Not everybody celebrates Christmas, though. See,
it don't matter. It happened Christmas. I know you're 20 years. You're not anonymous anymore. See, Ryan Mills. So yeah, it happened on Christmas. Okay, it happened on Christmas.
Okay.
Christmas. So speaking about Christmas, though, you said you wanted to get out to other shows. There just so happens to be a show at CCW on Christmas Day.
I know. Yes, I do know that. And
6 p.m. I'm just saying.
With Jamala Claus.
Not to be confused with Kamala Claus over there. So.
Damn it! I didn't even see that. I didn't even see the name change.
Kamala Claus.
Okay.
Yeah, will you do the belly thing?
No, I'm not going.
You won't do that.
I'm not Kamala. Okay.
I know you're not Kamala, but I mean, it'd be really cool. It'd be a cool moment. You'd be creating a moment if you did the belly thing.
I would be. I can't do it.
You're not Kamala. You have both your feet.
This is true.
For now.
This is true.
Oh my God.
What do you mean for now?
Wow. Bam Bam Kiesel.
Yeah. Jesus. You know what? I hope you have a stroke of genius. That's what I hope.
Wow.
Genius. Yeah, mother. I'm calm.
Listen, when we talk about exciting things coming, with people coming back and all that stuff, and the surprises, and Randy Orton come back, and then I was like, okay, watch the end of that. I was like, all right, Orton came back, looked good. He looked really good for what he's been.
He looked huge.
And then they were like, hey, let's just throw CM Punk out there too.
Right.
Oh my God.
But with no AJ Lee, so I'm like half upset. So
can I ask you guys, each one of you, how you felt about that?
That killed your boner, didn't it?
Yeah.
We'll let Shane go first. Shane's been
Shane, what did you feel about Punk coming?
Fucking buttons, but go ahead.
Oh my God! You guys just took lead. I was just listening.
No,
he was actually napping for a little bit.
No, I like to listen. I like to listen to everybody.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So tell us how you feel about the CM Punk situation, so you can quit typing.
I'm not typing.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, when he left AEW, you know he was coming back. So,
Right.
I mean, everybody talk shit about him and all this other shit. I mean, nothing's gonna change. So you're either gonna like it or fucking don't like it.
Right.
That's the way I look at it.
I'm surprised there was a live mic. I'm just more happy that I've already bought his shirt because I already had a plain white Haynes t-shirt.
Yes.
I've got 4 of them in my closet, so I should have sold those online. The CM Punk shirts.
You should have. You definitely should have. You
That's
definitely
awesome.
should have.
But CM Punk's not wearing a 2XL, sir. So he's more of a schmedium. So.
Yeah, he's definitely a medium.
Schmedium,
super medium. He's a super medium. So I mean, that's good. That's good. It was, to me, I wasn't shocked. It was Chicago. Of course, he's coming back at Chicago.
Right.
It was just a matter of when he was going to come out. The thing that surprised me the most, or the thing that I was just kind of huh, was Seth Rollins' reaction. That's the thing that I was just kind of oh. And then I went back and remembered they actually hate each other.
Right.
He hates that man with a passion. And then you find out that nobody knew he was in the building.
Nope.
Nobody knew.
Well, that's because they signed him on Saturday.
Yeah.
It was a real quick, when Triple H did the little press conference afterwards. It was hey,
Bro,
we
real
did
fast.
They are good at hiding motherfuckers, bro.
Yeah.
When I was there doing my tryout, I was there when Ronda Rousey debuted.
Right.
Yeah.
You did not see her at all until she was in the ring.
Yeah. They're very good at sneaking people in. They do it all the time.
Right outside the Performance Center, walking by with his gym bag, I'm not here for anything.
Yeah.
See you later, everybody.
Punk. I think that they did that on purpose with Seth Rollins because they wanted a genuine reaction out of him. Because they're going to work with that. Because you guys know that, you guys are wrestlers, so real heat between wrestlers makes money. It draws money. The fans are going to want to see it. Rollins is going to want to do it. Punk's going to want to do it. It doesn't matter who goes over because it's going to draw money.
They're going to want to beat the hell out of each other.
And that's the point. And that's great. And it's best for business. And Triple H said it at the the media thing at the end. He said, whether you love Punk or whether you hate Punk, people talk about him.
Yeah.
And they do. They talk about. We're talking about him right now on your podcast, and it just because it happens organically. Maybe all of us in this room don't necessarily like him, but we're talking about him. So there's the proof.
Me and Shane have devised that we're gonna make shirts that say "Bring back Emma"
for the third time.
They're all gonna be 3 X's.
You missed when she was popping bubbles.
Yeah, they're all gonna be 3 X's. They're all 3 X's for the third time.
Royal Rumble, it might happen.
Yeah, I'm saying we've been, and I heard that was leaked. And Shane, I don't know if you know this. I tried to tell Keezer, but he was too busy stuffing his face. El Diablo Suicide Myers is gonna make his appearance at the Royal Rumble. It was leaked on Spotify fandom.
Nope. Ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard it was like Sasquatch in the building.
I heard he went through a flaming table with a pile driver off the top rope.
What?
That's what I heard. That's where there's no photographic evidence of it, but that's what I heard.
So it wasn't a Canadian destroyer, it was a pod drone.
It's hard to say. There's no footage, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So we have 10 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you would like to promote before we end the podcast?
Well, first off, I want to say thank you guys for having me on and talking and telling my story. I know that I'm not a wrestler, and I'm humble about that, but I enjoy the fact that I've gotten my toes, wet in the business locally. I want to stretch out more. I want to get in touch with more feds out there and help promote more feds. That's what we're growing. That's what we're becoming. I love that you guys are doing a podcast because all three of you are very, very talented. Not only that, but you're very funny when you guys get in a room together. So, it was a no-brainer to get you guys on so that everybody can enjoy the hilarity that ensues when the three of you are together. But anyway, as soon as I heard about it, I started watching it because, there are other podcasts out there that consider me competition. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as they have their audience, you have your audience, I have my audience, and we work with our audiences, and you guys, this thing could take off like gangbusters in a year. We might be talking about you guys have, 5,000 followers. I don't know. I'm making that number up. I'm just saying, and that'd be great. I'd be to the moon for that. And anything I could do to help promote your podcast, just give me a shout. That's what it's all about in the first place. Second, what I have coming up is we're Around the Turnbuckle is every Sunday on YouTube. You can look it up and Around the Turnbuckle. You can join the Around the Turnbuckle Facebook group and promote your shows on there. I urge you to do that. We have about 500 followers on there. All in 90% of them are in Pennsylvania. So these are the people that would come to your shows. So I urge promoters out there to join my Facebook group, post your shows, post your posters up about upcoming wrestling events locally so that you can get more people to come enjoy local wrestling around here. And if anybody else is watching this that has never gone to an indie show, find them. We are spoiled in Pennsylvania with tons and tons of Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey. There is a ton of wrestling to be had. You just need to look it up online. Everything's online now. You look it up and boom, you find out what's going on locally. And then you go check out a show for $10, $20, whatever it is. And you have a great time and you get hooked. That's what happened to me. I went to an SW. I was invited to an SWO show, go to an SWO show. I got hooked. I wanted to see more of that. I wish I could see more. Like I said, I wish I could get out to Marysville more often and see some more CCW. I wish I could see Seven Valleys and Valor. I've talked to those guys a lot about whenever they want to come on and promote their stuff, they're more than welcome to come on, whether it be Rob Noxious, whether it be the big man for Seven Valleys, whoever wants to come on and promote their stuff, we are open to do that. So we have a guest next Sunday at 6:00. We have a guest the following Sunday at 6:00, and then that's it for the year because we always do it on Sundays, and those happen to be Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So we'll come back at the beginning of the year with the promoter. Our opening show in 2024 is the owner and promoter of 1CW, Stevie Ray Styles. So I'm looking forward to talking to him about 1CW. And Professor and I got invited to an event on December 9th in Slatington here for, I believe it's PPW. I'm not sure, but I got to look at that. But we got invited for free to come check them out. So I appreciate that. Whoever sent that invite, that's awesome. I believe it was the Brothers Gray, the Gray Brothers, the tag team. But anyway, that's what we've become. I couldn't be more proud about it. I will be at Seven Valleys on December the 16th. You showed the poster at the beginning. I will be announcing that show. I'm looking forward to Christmas Chaos in Seven Valleys, so I'll be there too.
Nice. I know there's a lot of people that would love to thank you for being one of the, we're the first in the area that were grabbing local guys and getting them on the show to be able to promote and be able to get more information about them out there. So on behalf of myself, I greatly thank you for that.
And I appreciate you coming on 4 times in 3 years. Don't say that to Kiesel because I think he's only been on twice. I think we had Shane and his brother on once. Oh, you were once? No. Don't I have Order 66 coming up?
Yeah, but we've only been on one so far. But yes,
I know, but I'm just saying that
66 is coming up though. Yeah.
He's not. Yeah, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. I got Order 66.
Don't placate him. He gets sushi. So
the SWO tag team champions.
I could do it from Sushi Heaven.
I hate you slowly. I hate you slowly.
He'll be right next to me. He'll be the one holding the camera while
that would be amazing.
Really?
That would be
really?
amazing.
Make sure to tune in.
I gotta come check this place out, man, because I love sushi. I really do.
You too? Now you want a sushi train?
Yeah.
So
I think me and Kiesel and Shane should show up at Sushi Heaven and then just do live from there.
I hate you.
And just I'll wave. Like they'll be on together, and then they'll just kind of tilt the camera over, and I'm doing one of those.
So our next week's guest is Cody Rose, and then the following week is Ron Neal. We know who he is, but we'll get into that in 2 weeks.
Ron Neal, that's
remember, guys. December 16th, SWO, Christmas Chaos. If you guys need tickets to those, hit up Al, Brian, anyone. And then remember Christmas night, CCW United at the Rutherford Youth Club.
With Jamal Claus.
Jamal Claus.
And remember, if you guys want to be a professional wrestler, a manager, a valet, a ring announcer, a referee, Fort Knox is giving free tryouts December 1st to the 25th.
Easy, you're already behind the schedule, so you better get your ass down to the fort.
You're 4 days late.
Yeah, exactly. So that means you're gonna run extra.
And make sure to follow on Instagram, Facebook,
YouTube,
Twitch, Spotify, the X, and TikTok.
The X.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Until next week.
Thank you, Al. You guys, Al.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys.
Always wanted to be a pro wrestler? Are you already a wrestler and looking to improve? Don't know where to start? Or just want to refine your skills? Well, don't wait. Only you keep you from being better. Want to be the best? Then learn from the best. Fort Knox's Training School will help you develop the skills needed to not only become better, but become a legit contender anywhere you go. So don't delay. Find us on Facebook or call 717-379-4599 to schedule a tryout now. That's 717-379-4599.